It's Monday, January 4th, and this is now on HNN.
And we've also done a couple thousand this weekend.
An update on the state's vaccination plan. This as a surge in COVID-19 cases on Maui prompt concern.
Restaurants would probably have to go from dining in to takeout only.
I just want to find 11,780 votes.
A stunning phone call between President Trump and Georgia's Secretary of State has some calling for a criminal investigation. I'm Natalie Brand with Who has now launched an inquiry.
In a year of economic pain, Hawaii retailers turn to creativity to redefine buying local.
It was really hard to transition.
We've got these stories, plus, like it or not, the chicken sandwich war continues in 2021. That's coming up on This Is Now. We begin with breaking news and new images into our newsroom from Manoa. There's a police investigation going on right now on East Manoa Road, and we're told there was a home invasion. 2 people have been transported to the hospital, according to police sources. We don't have many more details, but we do know that the Neighborhood Watch sent out an alert to residents saying 2 armed robbers were in the neighborhood and to be on alert. We'll continue to follow this breaking news and bring you any developments as it comes in. Just stay tuned to your HNN digital platforms.
Hey everyone, good afternoon and thank you for watching. This is now Ashley and Jonathan here. Let's get you those latest coronavirus numbers. Now the state health department is reporting 89 new cases today and no new deaths. The breakdown shows 62 cases on Oahu, 9 on Maui, 2 on the Big Island, and the rest out of state. Kauai independently reported 1 new case, a child resident who got sick while traveling. Meanwhile, state leaders are hoping to see a significant boost in vaccine deliveries in the new year. We got an update from Lieutenant Governor Josh Green just a short time ago.
This is what's going on. We've got 25,900 vaccines given already as of Friday. 91,700 will be in the state by tomorrow, and 26,000 of those are arriving in the next 2 days. So what I'm saying is we are in the top 20 percentile. They did come in a staggered fashion from the federal government, and you will see in the next 2 weeks we're going to ramp up our public vaccination capabilities because we will have these large pods. But when you bring the vaccine across the ocean, and then it's got to go to not just our hospitals but our long-term care facilities, takes time. We're doing about 500 a day at the closed pods. 2 days, 1,000, and you can see it going up like that.
Tonight, Hawaii News Now speaks with top health officials from around the state, including the Director of Health, Dr. Libby Char. We'll answer as many of your questions as possible about the process of vaccinating Hawaii and what you should expect. That's at 7 p.m. tonight on KHNL. Despite a jump in cases on the Valley Isle, Maui Memorial Medical Center says the number of coronavirus patients is actually down. There are currently only 12 people with the virus in the hospital's isolation unit at Maui East, and a spokesperson for the center says the ICU has capacity. Maui Mayor Mike Victorino warns if cases continue to rise, the island could see more restrictions.
Safer at home would be the next step that I would, ask people, which is not as restricted as staying at home. You still can get out for essential services and other issues and still even go to work. But if that's the next level, then safer at home would be the next level I'd move to. Some high-risk businesses would be asked to close. And so that would be based upon the type of exposure that they may have. And it's part of our tier system that, for example, restaurants would probably have to go from dining in to takeout only. Bars might be closed until further notice. So the measures I've taken in the intermediary period of time is really to give people time to change their ways or get better at what we're doing. And that way we don't have to hurt the economy once again.
Now, some Democrats are calling for a criminal investigation into a phone call that President Trump had with Georgia's Secretary of State. Natalie Brand has the developing details from Washington.
House Democrats are urging the FBI to open a criminal investigation into President Trump's stunning one-hour phone call with Georgia's Secretary of State.
All I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state.
A source familiar with the matter tells CBS News the Saturday call was the first time the two parties spoke since Election Day, despite 18 prior attempted calls from the White House.
We're going to follow the law, follow the process. Truth matters.
Democrats have uniformly condemned the phone call. On Fox News Channel, members of the president's party gave mixed reaction.
I didn't hear anything in that tape that the president hasn't already said for weeks now.
This call was not a helpful call.
Congressional Republicans are also split over plans by dozens of GOP lawmakers to object to Wednesday's counting of Electoral College votes. Ohio Senator Rob Portman is one of the latest Republicans to come out against the plan, saying in a statement, "I cannot support allowing Congress to thwart the will of the voters." The objections are expected to temporarily delay but not overturn certification of the results.
Joe Biden will be the next president of the United States of America, notwithstanding the delusional fantasies of some of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle.
President Trump lashed out at Republicans who have refused to challenge the results on Twitter, calling them the, quote, surrender caucus. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Honolulu welcomed 5 new members of the city council and a new mayor this weekend. Sammy Selena talked to political analyst Colin Moore about all these big changes.
We have some big personalities here. We have a comedian, we have a former candidate for governor. I mean, can you tell us what this is going to look like, what this interaction of this new group is going to be like?
You know, it's a great question. I mean, what I see right now is that they're trying to take a very pragmatic approach by appointing Esther Kia Aina as the vice chair and Andrea Topola as the floor leader. There you have a Democrat, a former Obama official. Andrea Topola was a Republican. So I think they're trying to bring both sides together so they don't enter this phase of factionalization like you saw with the Caldwell administration. Now, the entering members all have significant government experience, except for Augie Talba. But although he doesn't, he, of course, as an entertainer, brings some powerful skills as a communicator. So I'm feeling pretty optimistic about the new group of members.
Yeah, and this new group is also going to have to interact with the new mayor, Mayor Rick Blangiardi. I mean, what do you think that relationship is going to be like?
You know, we're going to know in the next 3 months. I mean, sometimes a crisis like COVID can really focus representative institutions, where they all work together. Sometimes it can lead to a lot of factionalization and infighting, and I hope we don't see the latter. I mean, Rick Blangiardi campaigned on his skills as a businessman and a manager, and so these are really going to be tested, whether or not he can work with a representative institution like a city council, something he's never had to do before in his business career.
Right. So speaking about those first 3 months, I mean, what do you think we're going to see as everything kind of starts up?
The number one issue, of course, is going to be COVID recovery and economic recovery from COVID. And along with that is going to be, I think, a lot of discussions about how to bring back tourism and how to bring it back in a way that works for residents. I think you're also going to see action on homelessness, again, on affordable housing, a perennial issue. Maybe a bit on neighborhood safety. And of course, rail. I mean, the city faces a $400 million budget deficit and a rail project that, frankly, I don't think anyone understands right now how we're going to finish.
Right. I mean, we did hear about possibly, making some adjustments to the tier system and loosening restrictions from a couple of these folks. That this could be a possibility. I mean, would it be easy for them to make adjustments to people's work in the past?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is a new council, a new mayor. They can make their own decisions. They're not, nothing that the Caldwell administration controls what they do. And I expect we might see a little bit of a loosening with the tier system. Maybe not that our case count has gone up, but I mean, what I'm really curious to see is how a more business-oriented, slightly more conservative mayor like Blangiardi manages the COVID crisis compared to Mayor Caldwell.
The Transportation Security Administration says more than 300 million people flew in 2020, although officials say about half of those travelers flew during the first 3 months of the year before the pandemic set in. It's a 61% drop from 2019, but TSA officials say it's still a significant amount of people considering months of public guidance not to travel. Yesterday, the nation set an air travel record with more than 1.3 million people passing through airport security checkpoints. For Hawaii, January will see limited increases to airlift, and it's unclear how many of those scheduled flights will actually fly. Howard Dykes has more.
Total scheduled air seats for January are below 700,000, down 42% from last year. Look for half as many seats to Honolulu as usual. Neighbor Island airlift down a third. And entire routes remain dormant. For example, Delta suspended flights from Detroit. United isn't doing its LAX run to Hilo or its DC run to Honolulu. Other grounded routes include China, Australia, New Zealand, Tahiti, Toronto, and Taipei. Hawaii had 1,524 federal bankruptcy filings in 2020, 143 fewer than 2019. December saw 5 filings on the Big Island, 6 on Kauai, 2 in Maui County, 101 on Oahu.
No doubt the pandemic has changed the way we host events, and that includes President-elect Joe Biden's inauguration. Members of the inaugural committee say there will be a virtual parade now after Biden is sworn in to minimize crowds. They're really urging people not to travel to D.C. and instead watch from home instead of being there in person on January 20th. Organizers say the televised virtual parade will celebrate American heroes and reflect our nation's diversity and heritage. We're told the event will also feature performances in communities across the country. Those performers will be announced in the coming weeks.
Today is the 200th day until the postponed Tokyo Olympics, and the capital and areas nearby are battling a new surge of COVID cases. That has prompted Japan's prime minister to consider calling a state of emergency. It's getting close to the deadline for Olympic organizers and the International Olympic Committee to announce concrete plans for keeping athletes and hundreds of thousands of fans, judges, and media safe. Approval for vaccines in Japan were sped up to allow them to be given in February. A new poll indicated that 63% of Japanese want to postpone or cancel the Olympics.
New today from overseas, WikiLeaks founder will not be returning to the United States to face spy charges. Elizabeth Palmer from CBS News explains why.
The verdict came as a surprise and prompted a huge cheer from Assange supporters who are gathered outside the Central Criminal Court here in London, the Old Bailey. The judge has ruled that Julian Assange will not be extradited to the United States to stand trial. And she made the decision on mental health grounds. She says that Assange is depressed and that conditions in U.S. jails, which she described as oppressive, would make him a serious suicide risk. If extradited, he would have faced 18 counts, one of computer hacking and 17 espionage charges, all of them relating to classified documents that he published on the WikiLeaks website relating to the Afghan and Iraq wars, along with thousands of confidential diplomatic cables. Although she did block his extradition, the judge rejected Assange's defense that he was protected by freedom of speech. Theoretically, if he was found guilty, he could have faced decades in jail. In spite of this morning's verdict, Julian Assange has not walked out of court a free man. He's been sent back into custody. The U.S. legal team is planning to appeal this decision as soon as sometime this very week. Elizabeth Palmer, CBS News, London.
Thank you, Elizabeth. We're going to switch gears here now quite a bit. I'm going to take you outside this live video feed coming into the H&N Digital Center. There is Aloha Tower there. Looks a beautiful day on this first Monday of the year. I got some pictures sent to our newsroom. I saw some foggy conditions, though, over on the Big Island forming. That fog looks like it's on its way back. Let's check in with Billy V now, who's in for Guy Hoggy.
Aloha, I'm Billy B, sitting in for Guy Hoggy. Here's your forecast for your first Monday of 2021. We've got a high surf advisory in effect, and that's for the north and west facing shores of the Hawaiian Islands from Ni'ihau all the way down to Molokai and also the north shore of Maui. Your water temperature is 78 degrees. Your north shore is 12 to 16. West side is 9 to 12, and everything else is, of course, smaller than that. And once again, we've got reinforcing swell that's going to bring you some big waves, especially that'll peak Wednesday night going into Thursday. Thursday. Let's take a look at the forecast for you, and we're expecting today to be, lots of sunshine, windward and mild showers drifting leeward at times. It's going to be trade wind weather. The winds are only going to be 10 to 15 miles per hour out of the east, and 84 degrees is your daytime high, and your sunset is at 6:03 this evening. Let's look forward now. As we start at Monday, 9 a.m., you can see that we've got not too much in the way of winds. We've got blue lines, which means lighter winds on the lighter side. As we move that into tomorrow, you can see that things are still kind of light. But once we get to like Thursday, Friday, so Wednesday actually, they start to ramp up. And then here's the Thursday forecast. It gets to be a little bit more. And then, of course, here we go Friday, nothing at all. And Saturday, light winds as this cold front comes through and kind of holds off the trade winds. So that's what you're going to be looking at. As far as your 7-day forecast, Monday through Thursday, trade wind weather. Friday, Saturday, the trades go away, and you're left with cloudy conditions and possibility of some rain. As always, get the latest on-air, online, on your mobile device, and at HawaiiNewsNow.com.
Empty storefronts and thin crowds during the holidays were a painful reminder of the pandemic's effects on local retailers. But through the economic pain, shopkeepers have found a silver lining. Senior digital producer Melanie Yamaguchi has more.
When stay-at-home orders were first issued in March, hands-on small businesses like 10 Tomorrow had little time to find their footing.
It was really hard to transition, I think, because most of our business came from in-store shopping. So to kind of communicate to our customers now that it's only online was a little bit of a challenge for us, and we didn't really put too much marketing or effort into our website since most people came to visit our store. Okay, we're live on Facebook.
The clothing store's solution: summer Saturday markets on social media. Shiigi launched trunk shows on Facebook and Instagram with other local shops, featuring 30 to 40 products for customers to buy through a live stream.
On a live, it feels like I'm with you shopping and offering customer service in that way, and that's what I love about it.
Stores like Allison Izu at Ala Moana Center had to get creative with how customers could try on clothes at a time when fitting rooms were shut down.
I mean, clothing is just a hard thing to sell online, just because if you're new to our brand, you don't know anything about it. You don't know what a size small looks like or fits like. So that definitely is the hardest part.
Allison Song devised Izu Try Before You Buy, an option that allows customers to try on up to 6 items that get shipped to their home after paying a $50 deposit. It can't match having customers in stores, but without many alternatives, it's proven to be the next best thing.
Like when we're kind of like pushed to the end point or like put under pressure, that's kind of when the ideas and the creativity come up. So not that it was a good thing, but that definitely pushes us to like rethink the way we've been doing things. And if it didn't happen, we would just be business as usual.
Melanie Yamaguchi, Hawaii News Now.
Thank you, Melanie. Thanks for that report. We're going to take a look at what the internet is talking about today. And a lot of people in our newsroom were certainly talking about this. There's a big Slack outage. And if you don't know what Slack is, good for you. Don't find out because you'll be tied to your work for the rest of your life. Don't even download it. But there was an outage this morning. Our newsroom was impacted. The company said that its messaging connectivity was being impacted by a technical issue. It appears to be working now, especially for us, because my phone's blowing up like it always does on Slack.
Yep.
But it was a short period this morning. I know it was a difficulty. That's how we all talk here in the newsroom and in so many other workplaces, especially in this stay-at-home world. That's how they're communicating with each other. So first day back at work for Minnie was a little rough.
Yeah, it's one of the first things I check when I wake up, and I was surprised by how little there was conversation-wise.
Awesome?
But yeah, it's back. So you guys, you thought the chicken sandwich war was over? Well, think again. McDonald's is adding the new crispy chicken sandwich to its menu in February. The fast food giant says it comes served up one of 3 ways: crispy, spicy, and deluxe. Now the crispy version is simple. It's just chicken topped with pickles and a buttered potato roll. The spicy preparation is the same but adds some heat with spicy pepper sauce. And if you want veggies, well, go for the deluxe.
I thought that had passed. That trend is with us again.
Yeah, that looks good though.
Yeah.
And you've heard of stuffed crust pizza. Well, Pizza Hut is celebrating 25 years of its iconic original stuffed crust pizza with a new offer. Now, some lucky fans get just the stuffed crust minus the pizza. So Pizza Hut is introducing a ring of cheese stuffed dough called Nothing But Stuffed Crust. Now, the cheesy promotion, only available in Los Angeles and Dallas, unfortunately, comes just weeks after rival Papa John's rolled out their own stuffed crust pizza. There's been a surge in pizza demand from Americans spending more time at home and avoiding dine-in restaurants.
Gotta be honest, I've never been a fan of the stuffed crust.
Me
It's
neither.
just too much for
yeah,
me. Too much.
Same. Mm-hmm.
Some big bling, right?
That's right. So there's a Guinness World Record for the largest number of diamonds on a single ring. So the record is now 12,638. It breaks the previous record by nearly 5,000 diamonds, and the ring is named the Marigold, or the Ring of Prosperity. Now, it's a circular band with an ornate floral design. It weighs nearly 6 ounces, and the stones are 38-carat natural diamonds. Guinness World Records says all the diamonds are conflict-free.
Look at that modest ring there. For our podcast listeners, this is like a full flower with just coated with diamonds. It looks like one of those like little kiosk stands. So you see those like trinkets with figurines.
Yeah.
They're just loaded with bedazzled works.
I wish they
It's
had
one of
it on a
those.
finger so we could see like to scale.
Yeah, I thought I saw one image there, but it's big. There we go.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah.
See?
No.
You could rock that. Definitely. You guys, there's this viral video. Everyone's been talking about it for days, so we figured we would as well. It's some good news to you from Elise Preston of this surfer rescue on the North Shore.
24-year-old pro surfer Mikey Wright asked a friend to hold his phone and his beer and made a run toward the pounding surf on Oahu's North Shore.
Oh no!
He initially began recording a group trying to help a woman caught in a 15-foot swell. She had been out on the rocks when the surge snapped her up.
I realized, well, this is actually really dangerous, and I actually started to feel bad for filming.
Wright dashed into the water while his sister Tyler, also a professional surfer, helped steer the rescue from the shoreline.
It's really important when it comes to ocean safety and rescues to, when someone goes in, to have someone kind of direct on the beach, because situations can change instantly.
Wright is seen struggling a little when he first enters the water, but was confident he could save the woman.
When I got to her, I just said, hey, we're going to be okay. We're going to get in, and, it's okay. I said, don't let go of me, and we'll be okay.
The Wrights say the woman appeared to have no major injuries.
I think she was just very, very thankful and also at the same time in a little bit of shock.
Wright was praised for his heroic efforts, but says the real reward was seeing the woman safely reunited with her family. Elise Preston, CBS News.
Amazing video there, and keep in mind there's still a high surf advisory out there. Not as quite as big as last week, but still some big waves out there to be careful with.
Right place at the right time.
Yep. And then we have one more story we want to get to.
That's right. So we've all seen the movies with popular toys like Legos and Trolls over the years. Now there are plans for another film featuring an object from the toy aisle. It's the Rubik's Cube movie. Now the film will be about the invention of the ubiquitous puzzle toy, and there's expected to be a market for the movie since nearly 500 million Rubik's Cubes have been sold worldwide since it hit stores back in 1980.
Very cool. I'll check that out. And please check us out tomorrow because we'll be back for This Is Now on our first full week of 2021.